when I'm doing this exercise with Duke, I always have him sit first. And he's on my left, obviously, and with my right hand, I'm going to pat his chest and say, go to your mat. And I'm going to say down. You walk over with him and say down, and he'll go down. Sometimes the dogs are a little bit nervous when we're filming, because there's a camera person here. But you notice that he didn't go down immediately, but I didn't repeat it and he went there. Excuse me. Because you never want to repeat the commands. And he knows when you send him to the mat, he knows what he's going to do anyway. So you see how I'm warming up here? I'm good. Just walking around him, which is just a basic downstay. If he pops up, of course, you're going to say no. And if he stands there, he pops up, just gently ease him down like that. Most likely, all you'll have to do is just do this, and he'll just go down. You won't have to force him down, most likely, anyway, because he knows what that means. And then, if he leaves the mat, then you're going to say no, and you're going to step into him and do your little left circle, and just lead him back, and do this. Oh, he's helping us out, so I'd lead him back and just put him back like that. See how easy that is? And then we're doing this outside because you have a situation where it's a giant patio and you have big windows and he sees you inside the kitchen and dining room, and he was formerly going crazy out there. So this is what we're going to be doing at your house, and this is what you need to see, him doing this outside. This exercise is very important in keeping him calm, and every time, because of the way you do it, every time you release him out of this exercise, he's a little bit calmer, and whatever space, room, yard, area that you do this exercise in, he starts to think of that area as the calm zone. And of course, you're not going to be blabbering on like I am here, and he's starting to lose focus. Good, because I'm talking to you, but excuse me, normally you're going to be just doing these moves, and in a yard that's secure and fenced, yours is walled in, you can drop the leash, because even if he makes a mistake, he can't go anywhere. It's totally safe for him. So you can start dropping the leash. Good. Walking farther away. He kicked that reward out of the way, and that distracted him. No. Just put him back. Try to keep him fairly straight on the mat like that. That's not ideal, but it's, right on the edge of acceptable. And if he starts coming off the mat, you can just touch the tops of his feet with your shoes and step into him. It's a dominant move, and he'll just back up. I'm not stomping on him or anything. I'm just barely lightly touching, and he chooses to go back on the mat. And if you want to straighten him out, just take some of these rewards and just lure him to straighten him out. And you get him exactly where you want him to be. Good. And then give him the rewards. So you're marking, like, okay, good, that's where you want to stay. So these are all things you need to know. If he makes a mistake, how to put him back, how to straighten him out. This is how you do any of those things. And now I'm going to just get back to walking farther away, way far away, coming back. It's okay if he looks to where you're going, but if he turns his body, that's a mistake, and you put him back, no reward. Do it again. He's got to stay there straight at the mat, on the mat. Wait for you to come back. Good. You notice how I'm rewarding him? I'm just placing the food calmly. Good. He's waiting. Make sure he waits every time. If he touches your hand, if he tries to grab the food or whatever, you pull back and say no. Not allowed to do that. So good. You want to pause like that so he's really waiting. And it's even, excuse me, it's even more ideal to, good, make sure that he's a little bit farther away, like maybe that far away, than to be right there on top of you, which he did a couple of times before. Nope. So if he starts moving towards you like that, pull back and say no. Good. Yeah, go for a little space, like 6 inches like that, because every time that you pause for a couple of seconds down there and he's really waiting for you to withdraw, that's a calm state of mind. He's really in the moment with you. He's really thinking. He's really exerting self-control. He knows how the game goes. He knows he has to wait till you withdraw. That's the kind of state of mind. That's where he goes, where all good behavior comes from, really. And you're orchestrating this whole thing. He's following the rules. This exercise in itself changes the relationship between the dog and the owner, because you're calling the shots and he's following all the rules, and he's also having to force himself to be calm and do it your way. So this is a really beneficial exercise to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the house. Usually we do this inside, but your issue is with having him outside. So I'm going to go inside, so the camera person has to kind of, as I go inside, you're going to have to go that way and show him, and I'm going to go inside, okay? So if you're ever going to do something that you think is difficult for him to do, you can remind him, down. And I'm going to go inside the house and close the door behind me, and I'm here at the window, and show me at the window. See how I'm opening up the window and talking, and show Duke now. Just trying to simulate what you have at your house. Good, and that's a really big deal, what he just did. So I'm coming back. No. Good, and he gets a big reward for that, because that was really difficult to do. You can also practice going out other gates, like you have a gate that goes outside like this. So this is going to be difficult for him as well. Down, just reminding him. I have a double gate. I'm going to go out and disappear on the street and show Duke. I'm going to come back. Good. And if you're far away like this, you can tell him good when you come back in, because that'll kind of keep him there until you walk up to him and tell him good again and give him a reward. Good. Well, he just kicked all the treats out of the way. Nope. So that was my screw up. No. Put him back. Stay calm. You have a little mix up like that. Stay calm. Put him back. Maybe back up, kind of reset. I got one piece that he didn't get. Good. Okay, so those are just examples of what he can do now. You see how calm he stays on the mat. I know we've been here longer than 5 minutes. If you just did this every day in your yard, and he made all the mistakes, so you see what to do with all the mistakes. If you go inside and he gets up, you just come back. Nope, put him back, go back in. And he knows how this goes, so that's the most you'll have to do. You might have to put him back 3-4 times, who knows, depending on how well you do this. That's why I video it, so you can practice it, know exactly what to do, what not to do, and then it's just up to you to get better at what I do. So he can do it, he just needs somebody to do this with him, and he's going to test you at first, probably, and not take you seriously. That's why we're going to practice at your house too, with me there, to make sure that you get it, just to get you going. But you need to stick with the program, because if you do, you get this. And this was he could do this after 3 weeks. So if I can teach him to do this in 3 weeks, you can keep it going. And you just have to get through that period where he's back home and he thinks, oh, you're a pushover. And the only way to have him have a new perception of you that you're not a pushover is to do my moves. Don't do any of the stuff you did before. Just do what I'm doing here, and he'll start to do this for you, because my moves trigger this behavior. When you get ready to release him, he stays there till you walk next to him, stand next to him, pat your leg and say, okay. You have him sit. Make sure he's not sitting on the mat. Okay, sit. Lead him off the mat, have him sit, and then with your right hand you can just pat his chest and say, go, and then he's free, and he can give him some free time. If you have him on the mat that long, and he did so well, just give him some free time for a while, let him rest, let him have some water, let him, good boy, come on, look, good boy, and let him have a good time and kind of get some brain power back there. Okay. A really important exercise that I do with him involves the front door, or really any doorway I do this at, or any boundary. And I have him sit, I step through, he waits till I come back, and then I say, okay, and he walks through with me slowly and calmly without pulling me. Really teaches a dog to not rush through doorways. And it's a little mini training exercise unto itself, because if you have to take him out 3, 4, 5 times a day, sit, then that's like half your training. It's a sit stay. It's teaching him to be calm at doorways, which is huge, because usually the dogs race in and out. They'll pull whoever has a leash, they'll pull them through. It's the area of chaos. And so if you do what I've been doing here, you work with him at being calm in a place where he formerly was chaotic and not calm, and it helps him overall with all the other places as well. So it's a good thing to do, good exercise to do. I'm just bringing him in from outside. Okay. All right. Sit. So we always have him sit in front of his crate first, because it's a little mini training routine to put him in and out of his crate. He loves his crate. So see how I'm having him wait, go, and send him in. Always wants to go in his crate. Guess why? Everything good happens in the crate. He goes in, turns around, he gets a treat. They take off his little collar here. As you can see, we're using this little mini prong collar. It's the smallest size they make. And you can see throughout the videos how I use it. It's not used for corrections. It's not used to cause pain. It's just makes it a lot easier for you to handle him on the leash, first of all, than just a regular, any other kind of collar. If you use it the way you see I'm using it in the videos. And it's kinder for him too. Obviously, it's not hurting him. So our routine here with the crate has been inside the house. And I know at your place you have a special situation, a very sheltered area outside that you have the crates, and that's why I'm doing this video outside, just in case you're going to keep doing that. But he does the same thing inside in the crate. This is an extra large. There's only one size above this. It's a Great Dane size crate, which you could use as well. But he fits okay into this extra large. So he's been in this crate. Persia's next to him, so two dogs side by side. They come in and out. They watch each other do training. Very structured between the two of them so that they learn how to be calmer with each other. And if you were to continue that routine at your house, it would be so much better over time. None of this is forever, but if you would do this for a few months, just exactly what I've been doing here, you get the same results. You'd have a much saner household. And also the crate is, at feeding time for the children or little visitors coming over or guests coming over. It's so much easier to keep them contained and have you have less to do when you have guests or things going on in your household. Have them in the crate. They love the crate. They get their bones and chewies, special stuff in there, so it keeps them busy. We always feed them in their crates because you want to do everything that they love in their crate so that they have that perception of the crate of like it's the coolest place to be ever. And that way you can use it as a management tool, and it's a place they love to go. And therefore, if they love to go there, you have them sit and wait and allow them in, and you also have them wait before they come out because you control the boundary. It's all about controlling the boundary to their den because they're naturally den animals. Dogs are den animals. So that's their little bedroom, their den, where all cool stuff happens. Every interaction with them is very positive. If I reach in there, my hand goes in, he gets a reward. That's what we do. I mean, this happens 6 times a day with them. Just in and out throughout the day. And it's never attached to any one occurrence. So it's just part of their life. And they've gotten really used to it. So all I did was, here, let me show you. I just already have this little prong collar attached to the leash, so it's less hassle. The leash is attached to the little funny looking buckle. The perfectly round spacer is not anything that you touch. You just make sure that it's not twisted so it opens and closes. When you're not pulling on the leash, it's totally loose and it's just lightly touching all the way around. And I just reach in and clip it on. And of course I do what I did before, which is actually, it's treat, reach in, clip it on. But because I've been doing it, and everybody here has been doing it with treats every time, I don't need treats anymore because we've done it. It's probably happened 1,000 times, just getting treats in there. So now he loves to see the hands coming. If you don't have a treat, it's not a big deal. But you should do it our way for a while to get the same result at your house. So treat, put on the collar, he's all ready to go. See how he's waiting? If he tries to come out, you just say no, and just do like a little token slam, no. And then when he waits, good, he gets a reward. And he's waiting for me to allow him out. And you just say, okay, and he comes out. And then always keep this door closed, because first of all, if each dog has their stuff inside, their bones, chewies, favorite toys, whatever is in there that they love, you don't want the other dog going in and trying to take their stuff. Also, the power of this crate routine, which is way more than just putting him in and out of the box with the door, is that you control the boundary in a very clear way. You saw, he sat. I opened the door. He waited till I allowed him in. He sure wants to go in, even in this strange place. I've never had a crate out here before and put him in out in the yard. He just wants to go in. He loves his crate. So the power of it is you control the boundary exactly like you saw me doing this, and exactly like letting him out. Make sure that he doesn't try to burst out. Last thing you want is a big dog like this bursting out of the crate and knocking you down. So you keep doing what you see we're doing here. He already knows how to do it. You just have to keep it up, and you have a very well-behaved dog that's waiting at this important boundary. This boundary, front door boundaries, gateways, curbs, all that stuff that you see in these videos. If you keep doing that, that boundary training is very important to having the dog perceive you as if you're in charge and being respectful of you, not pulling you all over the place, knocking you down, jumping on you. It all ties in together. Sit. This is our little front door boundary exercise. I always have him sit. I step in just to accentuate the fact that this is my boundary, not his. He needs to respect it, and he only goes through with me. I come back next to him. He's waiting calmly, obviously. I say, okay. He walks through with me. If he tries to pull you through, just do these little kind of like prompts. It's like tapping the brakes. He's wearing this little mini prong collar, and it's all you need to gain control over him. You never let him pull like this or any of that. It's very gentle, very firm like this, and then you close the door behind you and you take him to wherever you want him to take him. If you want him to be loose in the house, you just have him sit and then pat his chest and say go, and he's free. Good boy. He's a little, I think he's intimidated by the camera person pointing that thing at us, because he's a little intimidated right now. It's okay, bud. Sometimes dogs get that way with the camera person because it's an odd situation we've never done before. So I'm going to just show you how I take him out. So this front door thing, this happens all day long with him, and it's a little mini training exercise unto itself, and it's actually very important, okay, because most dogs, and he's one of them too, sit, has this problem with waiting at boundaries and wanting to rush through in and out and knock people over, out of the way, squeeze past, you know, pull you through, and we can't have that with a dog this size. He's going to get even bigger than he is now. So on the way out, it's the same thing. Sit, step out, he waits, stand back next to him, okay, he walks through with you calmly, respectfully. If he tries to pull you, you just do a little, exactly like this. It's a little prompt. It's like tapping the brakes. On the outside, sit, because I'm going to let him be free. This is out in the yard. And then pat his chest, undo his leash, pat his chest, go. And he's free. He gets a little free time. So that's how we do the front door. And you should do that with anytime he's on the leash. The more doorways you do this with, you can even just walk around your house in doorways to different rooms. Just do that. It's a great way to practice having him walk next to you. You notice when I came in, I did this left circle, which draws him back next to you, and then sit at the end of it. If you just did that walking through the house in your yard, you'd really get a handle on a lot of this, and he would have a different perception of what it means to walk on a leash with you. I'm going to have them both sit, go to your mat, down. I've never done this before, but there's only one person here helping me, and that person has to be behind the camera. So it's the first time they've ever been put on mats by just, you know, not one at a time, but two at a time. Okay. No. So you can see what I'm going through here. And then I'm going to put him back. No. There we go. And just stand on the leash and put him back. And that's the first time one person's put them both on the mat. That's the very first time. And so I wanted to film it to just show you that's got to be worst case scenario. I think you guys should have one person per dog. So in a way, me not having Good. An extra person today to have one person per dog. Good. Is good to show you that they can do it, even worst case scenario, just me doing it. And of course I had Duke on my left, which they're both trained on the left, to be on your left. Excuse me. And because he was the dog that has the more issues, so I'm told, or harder to handle. Good. And Persia on my right, but she still responded pretty well. I just had to straighten her out a little bit, but you saw how I did it. And having them both side by side and doing this stuff side by side is a great way to socialize them in a way that gets them used to being calm when they're in each other's presence. Another way is having them in their crates next to each other, like we've been doing all these weeks since they've been with us. They've been with each other constantly. Good. But it's always been in a structured environment. Meaning that very little wild and crazy stuff, which they're going to have for the rest of their lives. So I wanted them to get used to being always with each other, but being under control and not, good. And not like the kind of control where somebody's got them by a leash and going no and jerking and popping and holding on to them. That's not what I mean. I mean just the way that their lives are. There's always like built-in like training wheels, so to speak. They're next to each other, but they're in the crates. They're eating side by side. They got their bones side by side. Nothing bad can happen. They're used to staying calm in each other's presence for hours at a time. And also this exercise out here in the yard, which is what you're going to be doing, because your big issue is them being calm in the yard. So that could be your windows. I'm going to go inside and pretend that I'm at your place, and then we'll do this at your place too. So I'm going to say down to remind them, and then I'm going to go inside, close the door behind me, and then go to my window. This is the biggest window I have. Even knock on the windows. So Duke got up, so I'm going to say no, because that was a little more than he could handle. But this is part of the it's okay, buddy. It's part of the process. So he makes a mistake, you say no. He knows how to do this. He just lost focus real quick. Just put him back. No reward. Go back. I'm going to remind him again. Down. Come to this window again. Knock on that window. That's what got him to get up last time. So he's doing good. Come back. It's, believe it or not, it's early March, but it's getting kind of hot, so I don't want to have them sit out here for a long time. Good. And it's better anyway. Good. No. It's better that you have short periods of these on the mats with them out in that area where they used to go nuts, and have them come off and end the exercise on a high note while they're being really successful. And like on a high note, like good, big reward. They've both done really well. Good. And then this is the most difficult part, of course, is because the release is so important. They can't just pop up and decide to leave. They gotta wait. They have to wait till you allow them to get up. And so if you're by yourself, although I'd recommend one person per dog, each person has a dog on their left, so somebody would be there, of course. But no, in my case, I wouldn't be talking a lot either, so we would have already been done, but Duke's getting distracted by all my talking. No. This is all good for the video, because if they can be successful here, then you know they can be successful with you. Okay, you lead them off their mats, sit, make sure that they sit, and then pat their chests, go, and then they're free. And when you release them, you'll see that they're going to be a little bit calmer with each other as well. Really helps, just changing their relationship with each other, getting them used to the fact that, oh, a lot of the time when we're together on free time, we're calm out in this yard. So this is really important to do out in your big yard.